Is Appearance More Influential Than Reality? Featuring The Great Gatsby by Noir DeFolla. Nowadays, with the spur of modern technology, especially to the youth that this podcast is catered to, it is very difficult to trust what you see. This question, however, can be taken out of the context of just social media and into the minds and hearts of its users. We often judge our peers based on how they display themselves to the public, but we forget to look into their personal morals and beliefs, making up who they truly are. In The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald takes readers on an immersive journey, displaying the stark contrast between appearance and reality through his intriguing characters. From just an outside perspective, we judge these characters based on their desire for wealth and status, but diving deeper into their past experiences and what makes them them, we begin to understand the reality of their desires better. I have decided to choose The Great Gatsby for this podcast because the main character, Gatsby, demonstrates the epitome of a false reality. He has made a facade for himself and has worked his whole life trying to prove it to others. Although he has gone miles to do so, even as much as changing his name, his downfall comes certain to the fact that his fake appearance was not influential enough to answer the suspicions that roamed those around him. On the outside, it may seem like someone is living a lavish life, but the extent to which others believe this lifestyle determines how influential appearance really is. Through The Great Gatsby, Gatsby tries to put on a front, showcasing his wealth and luxury. At first, people really do believe this, as they are eager to attend his parties, to maximize their status and be part of a crowd that he has created. However, amongst the individuals who get to know Gatsby on a deeper level, they begin to understand his facade. Firstly, although Gatsby appears to live a refined lifestyle, Nick does not believe that he went to Oxford, as Gatsby is not boastful like other Oxford men, and he maintains a more humble demeanor. His large library and luxurious clothes are not enough to convince Nick that he went to Oxford. In addition, appearance is not influential because Nick does not believe the story that Tom told Mr. Wilson when he said that Gatsby ran over Myrtle like you'd run over a dog, quoted from page 191. Nick understands that Tom cannot feel compassion and sympathy for Gatsby and that he would rather lie than tell a truth that would ruin his image and reputation. This shows how corrupt and apathetic the desire for money makes people, and in understanding this, Nick is able to overcome the facades of East and West Egg, knowing the reality of their desire stems from wealth and greed. Furthermore, a source's credibility deems how reliable and trustworthy it is. Nick Carraway, the narrator in The Great Gatsby, moves from the Midwest. He narrates the events in the books based on his perspective of the characters, which is much more broad and free coming from an outsider. Because of this, Nick challenges the authenticity of the characters and is able to see past the false realities that they display. In the beginning of the novel, Nick challenges the source of Gatsby's money and asks him about what business he's in. Gatsby then replies with, "That's my affair," quoted from page 96, making Nick suspicious and probe further into his past and behind his front of studious wealth. Later on in the book, Nick gains the trust of Gatsby, where Gatsby tells him about the illegal affair he's associated with. Even after acknowledging his illegal activity, Nick is still able to sympathize with him as he believes he's worth the whole damn bunch put together. Page 164. Here, Nick compares Gatsby to the greedy lifestyles of the other citizens of East and West Egg. Evidently, Nick is able to look past Gatsby's display of wealth into the reality of his morals, proving that appearance was not influential enough to scheme Nick. Finally, throughout the story, Nick Carraway is met with many surprises. Fitzgerald introduces Gatsby as mysterious and nonchalant. If appearance were to be really influential, Nick would have fallen into Gatsby's act, expecting him to remain passive and obedient. When Nick finds out about Gatsby's connection to Mr. Wolfsheim, he is shocked, leading Nick to further question Gatsby's identity. Not only is Nick shocked at Gatsby's moral way of making money, but he is even more shocked at the fact that Gatsby would ask Nick to involve himself in this illegal activity, to which he justifies by the fact that it would make Nick a nice bit of money and that it would be rather confidential. Quoted from page 88. At this point, Nick realizes his innocent expectations of Gatsby are wrong and creates a new, cynical version of Gatsby in his head. Fitzgerald has now introduced the first divergence from Gatsby's fake persona to his reality that ultimately leads to his downfall. Further, Gatsby is attracted to wealth and thus expects those around him to desire it as well. He was caught off guard when he realized that Daisy was dissatisfied with his luxurious party. It is evident that Gatsby fails to empathize with Daisy's emotions outside of superficial appearances, shocking him when he realizes that in reality she is not happy. In conclusion, appearance is not influential because, as shown throughout The Great Gatsby, reality outweighs the mask that one displays, ultimately revealing their hidden truths and initial motivations. East and West Egg citizens desire wealth and status so much that they veil their greedy realities with superficial luxuries. When looking in from a distant perspective that is not blinded by the ambition for wealth, it becomes difficult to believe the facades that these characters create, easily challenging the sources of their wealth as they contradict our expectations of the virtue that they try and front. Through The Great Gatsby, F. Scott Fitzgerald allows readers to understand the complexities of individual motivations, using characters that rivet their ways through the class hierarchy, facing setbacks when met with their realities.